My name is Lindsay Blair and I am an English Opens Doors program volunteer. I studied speech, language, and hearing sciences. So I had just graduated from university with my degree and I wasn't quite ready to go on to graduate school, which is the next step for me. And I kind of wanted an experience to, travel abroad, learn another language because that's always really useful. And yeah, just get some experience working with kids in schools. I was placed in Coquimbo region in La Serena, and I was there for 4 months. Decided I wanted to learn a language, travel abroad, learn a language. I decided I wanted to learn Spanish. I started looking at programs in Spanish-speaking countries, and I came across the English Opens Doors program, and initially what grabbed my attention was free, Everything was paid for and included, and it seemed almost too good to be true. And then I also really loved that the program provides you with all of the training and all of the necessary tools, all of the materials that you need in order to be successful. And it just seemed like everything that I needed, everything I was stressing about when thinking about coming to South America they made it so easy to travel abroad somewhere I've never been before, where I didn't know anyone. They made it so easy to just walk into the situation and everything was there waiting for you, ready. And it made it really easy and fun to be successful and make it really what I wanted it to be. So I really didn't know. I mean, obviously I had some expectations from what the program had told us to expect from, we would be getting host family, meals, the school and everything. But I tried to kind of keep my expectations to a minimum just because I didn't really know what it would be like coming to this country. And the program has really exceeded everything that I ever thought it could be. The people, I knew that they were expecting me, but they gave me such a warm welcome and I always felt so included with everything. It was really, really, it made it so easy to be away from home for so long. This is the longest I've been away from home. I wish now that I had done a longer program because I'm realizing, at the beginning, I thought 4 months, that's a long time, I'll be able to do everything I want. 4 months goes so fast, and it's not enough time. At the end of 4 months is when you're finally getting settled in your life, and that's when, and then you have to say goodbye, and it was so sad. All of the support that I received from the NVC was really good. Everyone was really on top of things. I sent an email and later that day I would have a response and everything was taken care of. It was really good support. I had all of these ideas that we learned from orientation and I had all the necessary tools, but then I had to really adapt it in order to make it work in my school environment. But in terms of the training, I had everything that I needed to know. I knew how to make a lesson plan. I knew what was expected of me. I knew who to go to when I needed help. So yeah, it was good. So La Serena is a beautiful city. It's right along the beach. It's a very touristy town. So, I got there, it was winter, so it was pretty quiet, but it started kind of picking up towards the end when it got warmer and people were at the beach surfing and just kind of hanging out. It was a really beautiful city. There was a lot of, cafes and things like that. It was a lot of things going on in the Plaza de Armas every weekend, so it was fun to just kind of go out and walk around. And then I actually worked. I didn't work in La Serena. My school was in Coquimbo, in Tierras Blancas, and that was another type of city. That was more of the port city. So La Serena was the beach, Coquimbo had the port and all the fish and all of those things. So that was a really fun place to go hang out too. And some of the volunteers who worked up there, lived up there, we would all hang out on weekends in La Serena or Coquimbo. It was a really good situation. I loved it. So I lived with, so I had my host mom and dad who were mid-40s, and then I had a sister who was 12 and a brother who was 9. And none of them spoke any English. So that was an experience because my Spanish when I came was very limited. So, at first we used a lot of Google Translate, which was fun. And I would just sit back at meals and kind of listen, try to navigate what was going on, which was difficult at times. But the family was so sweet, so loving. They were very welcoming. I never felt out of place there, even though we couldn't communicate easily. Sometimes, there was definitely a lot of misinterpretations of what was going on, but They were so sweet, and they were always willing to like give me everything I needed, If I didn't like what I was eating, the host brother would be like, "Here, take mine," It was really sweet. I miss them. I don't know. Well, so I was lucky to be in the city and to have a lot of other volunteers in the city as well. And so, especially at first, we would meet up and just kind of explore because, in a city, there's always stuff to do. So we would walk around on the weekends and really just kind of go wherever the wind took us. We would go to the beach a lot. That was great. I love just how warm and friendly everyone is. Especially to the gringos, to any kind of foreigner. They're so excited to get to know you and they're wanting to welcome you into their home. As soon as I got there, all of the teachers at my school were inviting me over to their house for dinner and wanting me to meet their sons or their daughters, which was really, really nice and sweet of them. But yeah, just basically how, what is the word? Hospitable that they are, very friendly, very welcoming people. They're willing to give you everything that they have, I don't know, it was really, really interesting, a very different culture. And also, just within the classroom setting, there was always noise. You never had all eyes and all ears on you, which was really, really, it took a big adjustment for me. And during my observation week, I actually observed them taking tests. And during the tests, all the students were still talking and sharing answers. I was like, this would never fly in the States. So yeah, it was a very big difference in the school environment from the US. Definitely the behavior, first off. Like I said, the kids have a lot of troubled backgrounds and they're expected to behave badly, so they do. And I don't know, I didn't quite know how to manage those situations at first, especially in another language. And that was the second biggest challenge, was the language barrier. And because the program has, the 100% English ideal in the classroom, a lot of times it took me 20 minutes just to try to get them to say one word. And a lot of times, I would lose their attention during that time, and that's when all the behavior issues would start too. So trying to kind of manage those two things at the same time was a really big struggle for me. Definitely just when the students got it, right? Like when they could actually, when you asked them a question and they had a response that made sense, that was really cool. And then also, I didn't even feel a lot of it until the end when I was saying goodbye, but some of the students who were so shy in my class and never participated, or maybe were too scared to even come, and then at the end when I was saying goodbye, they were like, "No, miss, please don't go. Why do you have to go?" And they were still really touched that I was there. And it made me realize, like, even if they're not directly learning how to speak English from us, just our presence in the school really gives them that memory and that something to hold on to, something to take away, After completing this program, I have a huge sense of accomplishment. I feel like now I know that I can really do anything. If you just stick to it, then you'll be fine. I feel a lot more confident in my abilities, for sure. A lot of times in this program, you're thrown into really strange, uncomfortable situations, and it's sort of sink or swim, and you kind of just learn how to swim. You learn how to make the best out of any situation, and just kind of how to navigate these unknown circumstances. I don't know, I feel like I can, like I'm not scared of anything anymore, I think the people, every experience, it's really the people that make it what it is. So, my family was so fun, and then I was also really lucky to be next to some other volunteers, and I became really close with another volunteer's family. Her mom worked at my school, and we would drive to school together every day. So I basically had the two families almost, and it was like that kind of situation was really special to me. And then I also met a lot of university students who invited me to their university parties or to meet their university friends, and I got all this different spectrum of like people, just that's what made it really special. That was my favorite part, was meeting all the different people. One lesson that I've learned to take away is definitely that, like, it's never too late to start trying something different or trying to do better. You know, a lot of times in my class, it took me trying to do the same lesson in 3 different ways before the kids actually kind of got it. And it was really discouraging at first, but it was like, well, didn't go so well one day, try again the next day. Didn't go so well, try again, you know? And same with like I said, in my host family, because of the language barrier at first, I was very quiet. And then partway through, I started picking up more Spanish. And I was like, well, I just need to start jumping in there, jumping into the conversation, asking them questions, you know? It's not like you're bound to one thing your whole life, you know? You can always pick a change of scenery, try something different. It's never too late to try something new that you want to do. So after this, on Tuesday, I'm flying to Colombia, and I'll be there for a month and a half. I have family there. And then after Colombia in January, I'm going to Peru, and I found another program there. Not quite as good as this one, but so I'll be volunteering actually in medicine in Peru up until April. And then after that, I have about a month and a half free that I'm not sure what I'm doing yet, and I'm planning to return to the States in May. But if I had to suggest what to do after somebody's service, I would either stay in Chile or travel, but not to go home right away. I would say that no matter who you are or what you want to do, there is something that you can take away from this program. I mean, I want to do speech and language pathology, and I can relate so many of my experiences to that. It's very directly relatable to education, things. It's also really relatable to politics and economy. You know, you can find a way to apply it to whatever you want to do. And because this is such a unique experience, I mean, it's not something that you get to do every day. If you have the opportunity, you have to take it, you know? Well, I think first off, you just have to be open-minded. So as long as you're an open-minded person, you can do it, you know? You have to be positive. You have to always be looking for the good in whatever, because you're going to be thrown into a lot of situations, meeting a lot of different people, so you just have to try to stay positive and, you know, work your way through it. Anybody who's just graduated, not sure exactly what they want to do, we're not really ready to take that next step of finding a job or applying to grad school like me. This is a really great opportunity that, you know, you're still being productive, you're learning a language, you're gaining experience, and still you get to travel and you get to, you know, take this time off before having to make those really big decisions later on. You could also, anyone who's looking for a change in work, maybe they're not super satisfied, just want a change of scenery. I mean, there's so many different people that would be a great fit for this program.